This truck is so damn tall. I have this tripod like on the moon and it's like just barely tall enough. I need to get like an 8-foot fucking tripod. This truck is lowered and it's still that tall. It's dumb. Let's well, I started, man, this thing is like the greatest thing ever. I started wiring in the micro and I tapped it into the stock map, well, the ZR1 map sensor. So I tapped that wire in and then I removed a bunch of shit that I did not need out of the micro harness. So I got the 2 injector wires and then I got some other stuff here I guess I can use if I want to, an input and output. I'm going to turn the fuel pump on and off with one of the outputs, I think. Just got to figure out how I want to set it up. Super easy, just what's best practice. And then I have opto in and out, well, ground and positive, and that's what I'm going to have an adventure with today and hook it up to these coils. I read on the thing, if you're hooking it up to a single coil, like a Ford or a Chevy, just a single coil on a distributor, you hook up the positive to the negative, and you hook up the negative to the positive. Now that seems counterintuitive to me, but that's how they tell you to wire it from the guide. So I think the easiest way to do it will be to strip these and then unplug one of the cylinders, let it idle with one of the coil packs unplugged, and just jam these in. I'm going to figure out which one's the trigger and which one is the other, and we'll see if, I'm hoping I can just plug in the ground or the positive into the triggering wire. On these coils it's a 5-volt trigger wire, a pulse. So I'm hoping I can just hook up the positive, opto in positive, and it'll give it a 5-volt spike for when it triggers, and then I can just take that, and then that'll be it. And that's all I need. And that's what I would like. That's what would be nice, but we will see if is actually what happens. Manage your expectations in everything in life, including wiring things into cars. Manage your expectations. I'm going to wire up a relay then for this relay panel. I'm a little bit late on the injector clips, but that's fine. I got to get RPM and everything else working before then. Let's open up Tuner Studio. Oh yeah, I made coffee in the house and I left it in there, that Black Rifle Coffee Company. Oh yeah. Okay, so do I just start the thing and start jamming wires in? Is a regular ABC plug on here? It's got a stupid safety on it. How dumb is that? I can barely see it. I gotta climb in there. Okay, I got most of my wiring done. I have it reading RPM. It's not totally accurate, but it is reading RPM. So I'm gonna move along with that for now. I don't want to waste any more time fucking around. It's not that big of a deal to me, at least if it's reading some RPM, at least I can tell it how much fuel to put in. Most important is just the map sensor and everything else is reading boost. It is reading some RPM, and it's not that it's inaccurate, it's just out of scale, and I tried everything I could to bring it back in. It says, at 500 RPM, it says 50 RPM. It doesn't matter how many cylinders I change or how many other things I change, the damn thing just sticks at 50 at 500. So, according to that scale, you know, I held it at like 2000 RPM and it showed 200 RPM, so it's just missing a 0. So I rescaled the whole fuel table. So we'll see if that's just a thing with the direct injection where it just shows the lower RPM. I know sometimes it does that on the dyno too, but whatever. We'll figure that out. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It's so easy to scale that stuff on the dyno once everything is working. So what I did was since this is Troy's truck and it's kind of nice and this stuff's kind of nice, I wire loomed everything, and then this is just for the injectors. This is all I got to wire left. These EV1 jobbers, I've got to get connected to that. Here's the power, and then that's injector 1 and 2. I'm just going to stagger them, 1 injector per driver. Why not, right? And then it runs over, and there's a power source from the battery, and it runs over to a relay here. And then this is the main, these are what I was thinking of using to trigger the fuel pump, so I probably will still set those up so the fuel pump isn't running all the time. And then tucked away in there is the fuse panel. And then this is the key on for the relay. So I have to dig in here and key on and key off stuff so that when, and then I'm gonna just use an add a fuse, honestly, for a key on source from here, key on the relay, and then it's gonna turn the panel on, and then I'm gonna take the wire that feeds the fuel pump and feed the relay, and then one of these is like fast idle and one is fuel pump, but fuel pump runs all the time and I don't need this to run all the time unless I can repurpose the fuel pump output, which usually that's like a hardware, like it's limited in the firmware to be just the fuel pump wire. So I can set the fast idle F idle guy right here. I can set up this guy to do like a boost triggered, so I can say, hey, when this thing hits, you know, 100 kPa, turn the fuel pump on in preparations to turn the injectors on. So that's like a nice thing. So everyone in the world is worried about me refeeding the return back into the supply, even though it's not direct, and I have done that many times before without a problem. People are losing their fucking mind about it. Well, not everybody, but just some key people who are snobs on the interwebs. So I may trigger the relay with this. I may run it hot all the time, because who gives a shit? And then we'll see how these 80s do at 45-ish PSI. I cleaned up the wiring in here. That might surprise a lot of you. So I just got to get these injectors wired. I looked in the box here, and I told Mike the wrong fucking injectors, I believe. He sent me EV6s. So I have these clippies here, but these will not plug in. So I might go to the junkyard since I want to get this thing going, you know, as soon as possible. I have some tuning this weekend, so I would like to take this truck back over, do a little bit of tuning on it, pick up my turbo truck, which is locked in the dyno, my Colorado, and get the ball rolling on this thing, see how the wastegates do. I might pull the wastegates off one more time after they cool off. I think I'm going to bend the diaphragm holder a little bit, or grease the diaphragm itself with high temp grease, and see if that helps it pop back to normal. Otherwise we might need to put different gates on these stupid things. Anyway, that is the whole ordeal as of now, so we will see how everything else goes.